To be great in terms of consistent client growth in your business, content is a huge piece of the puzzle. In today's episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message, we're going to be talking about the 4 types of content you need to be creating as a business owner in order to improve your client conversion rates, which means more of the right clients wanting to invest in your programs and services. That's what we're going to be tackling today on Amplify Your Marketing Message. I am Campbell, Rapin, the owner of Clear Acceleration. I help clients figure out that content piece, get their message out there so that they can be viewed as the must-hire choice in their service so that they can see impact and income in their business consistently and predictably. And I want to start by telling you a story about this light bulb around content, because most business owners would say they either love or hate content creation. In my case, I've always loved it. I was never struggling for what to say, but I wasn't particularly strategic, just being honest, about what it was I was doing in my business in the early days, until I had a client who came to me really struggling to attract an audience. They were doing all the right things, or so they thought, and yet just not seeing movement. And she came to me specifically to help her with this marketing piece of it. I want you to understand a simple truth we lose sight of easily in the world of business, in the world of marketing, and that what is the purpose of marketing? Marketing is about movement. It is about sparking curiosity within your ideal client, making them aware of you on some level, and then turning that awareness into curiosity and helping them go from merely curious to being a paid client. It is about the movement. And if your marketing isn't about movement, you fundamentally need to revisit your content, and we can help you do that. But content and getting the right content out there is how you will either convert people into your programs and services, or you will simply be viewed as a likable expert. And far too many businesses get caught as the likable expert. And that's what was happening for my client when she first came to work with me. She was creating a community. People were liking what she was doing, but nobody was buying her programs and services. And that was a non-starter. She couldn't stay on that path. She was going slowly broke, putting all this money into the business, but not seeing conversion. And so we built her 4 content pillars. And we were really specific about the types of content she should be creating. And the mix was really important here in order to see that movement piece from curiosity to paid client. And we did see success in that journey. And as I was helping her break this down, I had a light bulb go off in my own business. A bit of a painful one, to be honest. I thought, wow, I could break it down for her and help her achieve the result, which was awesome. She was thrilled, and I was really, really excited to see the impact she was creating. But I realized I wasn't doing this for my own business as strategically as I was helping her do it for hers. Anyone else? Anyone else been in that camp? The do as I say, but I'm not really doing it for myself. This happens all the freaking time because we are not able to see the business for what it is. We cannot see the forest for the trees. And I will tell you, it's one of the biggest reasons why working with somebody else can help you be a little bit stepped away from your business to see what's truly happening. That exercise really helped shine the light on my business, and I made a course correction, and it absolutely accelerated the growth of my business. And so I'm going to gift you today the light bulb that it cost me, the implementation that we work with my client to see her success, and I hope it does the same for you. So understand that there are 4 different types of content you need to be creating. I'm going to take you through what the 4 content pillars are, and then I'm going to talk to you about the mix, because the mix is really important. The mix, getting it right, is the difference between being a likable expert, hello, likes, comments, follows, but no paid clients. Anybody in that camp? Or the must-hire client, which is I see a piece of content and I move. And I'm prepared to invest because I see you as the guide to help me get the results. So let's take a look at it. The first is knowledge-based content. So this is the how. This is about showing your expertise. And I will tell you, one of the things that we all know, we have to show the how. We have to show what it is that we do, our models, our frameworks, our philosophies. Those are really important things. The challenge with knowledge-based content is it's the least interesting for others on the other side to consume unless they're at a decision-making place in their journey. And remember, that's a very, very small bit of people. Typically only about 3% are ready to buy today. But knowledge content is important. I think where most entrepreneurs go off course is that they focus too much on the knowledge content, and that makes them the likable expert. And I often tell people the reason why most businesses are stalled is because they're using knowledge-based content, trying to convince an audience, typically the slow lane. If you've heard me talk about the lanes of traffic before, it's the slow lane where you're trying to educate them into, you need to solve this. But they have zero interest as a priority today to solve this. And so you keep putting content and they might like it and you think, well, they're going to be a client, but they're not, because there's no priority or urgency to solve it. They just see you as a likable expert, or someone maybe someday they would want to work with. But someday clients can't be what you built your future around. So knowledge-based content is that how, the frameworks, it's the nuts and bolts, if you will, of what it is that you do. That is an important content pillar, but maybe not as important as you are making it today. And that's part of the problem why you're not seeing client conversion rates. The second key piece of content that you need to be creating is credibility content. We call that often social proof. It's how does what you do come to life in the implementation? And the best examples, other than your own storyline, are what it does for previous and current clients. This is really important to have the testimonials, to have the social proof, to have a, this is what's working in my client's business right now, because it shows results. And remember, we've said this before, but clients will not pay for your time. They won't buy your services because you've got cute graphics. Spoiler alert. What they will buy is a result and a confidence that they have that working with you will help them get there more quickly, with less pain, less cost, less resources than getting there on their own. And that's why credibility content is so incredibly important. You need to brag through other people's voices about your business. And I will tell you, watch yourself bragging for your own business. Yes, it's okay to say, you know what, I have some great successes, but there's more impact when it's somebody else's words. And when you say, I'm the best, I'm the only, it immediately tunes out your audience. But if someone else said, she was the best for me because, and we got to this result, wow, it is hugely impactful. And I will tell you, credibility content is key because other people are looking for an accelerator. And when they see somebody else winning, your content can be, imagine if this was you. It can be, let's start the conversation. And so credibility content is incredibly important. You need to be documenting, asking, and understanding and measuring results that your clients are experiencing all of the time, not just when you've completed projects or when you've seen the big win out of the park. Social proof needs to be both numeric, i.e. savings, sales, or impact on the bottom line, but they are also experiential. And don't forget to make sure that you filter these into your content. It's the lifestyle they're creating. It's the relationship wins that they see. It's the overall impact to their health, mental and physical. And it's the joy that brought back into their journey. Make sure you're looking at credibility and asking clients, observing the movement and talking about it in your content under credibility. It's a hugely important piece of the pie. The third piece that you need to be thinking from a content pillar perspective is actually character. We said this before, so important. People do business with people. They need to understand you and your character as the business owner or service delivery. It's imperative that you show up and talk about the lens in which you see the world. It is not just about the business. I want you to, yes, invite people into understanding your hobbies, your relationships, the important causes that you champion in your life, because people need to see you more than just as a business owner. And so character posts, some people really poo-poo these. I will tell you, they're not fluff pieces. They are strategically important because character is what will be the anchor around trust. And remember, when people invest in your businesses, programs or services, they are saying first and foremost, I trust your character to deliver, to be a safe space for me to work with to get the result I'm achieving and wanting to aspire to, how will they build that trust if you don't show your character? Question to the audience. They can't. And so do think about how you can show up and share the lens. If you're going to use other people's content, quotes, inspirational things in the media, topical things, they can be great accelerators to get eyeballs onto your space. Be sure that you tell your lens. I tell this to my clients all the time. In fact, this is one of the pieces we're working on right now with one of my clients. It's great that you want to share somebody else's content because maybe you don't yet have the words, but use their words and show why it matters to you. Make sure you always cast your own lens on the story, because the goal is for people to trust you as the business owner by getting to know you as a person and feeling trustworthy that says, I think I could be in their ecosystem for a period of time and actually want to spend time there. So character is pillar number 3. The fourth pillar is conversion. Yes, the sales piece. You do need to be making offers. You need to be talking about your programs and your services by name. And you need to be inviting and telling people how they can take the next step. What can they do to work with you? And be clear, simple words about what you do, the results you make, and how they can get started. And so conversion copy does have an important role to play. And you must be sure that you talk about your programs and services by name. So often I think people think, well, I made an offer. And I'm like, did you? If people are not coming to your business with the names of your programs and services, you're not talking about the names of your product enough. People aren't connecting to it. And getting really true acceleration and amplifying your message comes down to when you stand for something. You stand for what you're capable of. You stand for an individual point of view. You have a record, a track record of success, and you also have a program and service by name. So there are 4 important content pillars you need to be including in any of your storyline in order to see movement: awareness, curiosity, intrigue, conversion. So let me just recap what they are, and then we're going to talk briefly about the percentage and the mix, because the mix is really critical, shifting between being a likable expert and seen as the must hire. So they are knowledge, credibility, character, and conversion. And so let's talk a little bit about the mix of things, because I said sometimes the biggest challenge I see in content is that we're not intentional about the mix. And I know personally, I wasn't until I had to break this down for a client and I saw the huge result for her and went, I'm not sure I was successful in my own application of what I know. And so I actually built a calendar. I still have it in my desk and in my office. And I talk about this mix, and I'm get out a day. And when I'm building and batching content, I'm like, let's make sure that mix is addressed, because doing so improves your client conversion rate. And ultimately, that's what you're looking for, and why content is even worthwhile. You can't be the best kept secret. So knowledge-based content is actually a pretty small percentage of the content I want you to put out there, because it's the least interesting to the audience. And if they're not interested, they won't stay with you. So I say 10 to 15% of your total content should be about knowledge. And that might shock a lot of you, because I think 90% of clients who are not seeing conversion rates high are in the place where they're focusing all on knowledge-based content. It's the features and benefits. It's this is our brand, this is our story, and it's not that interesting. And remember, if all of you do is educate, you're a likable expert, you're not the hiring expert. And so be careful, 10 to 15% only on this type of content. The second piece of content is credibility. And credibility is the highest amount of content I want you to be creating, because it's the thing that builds confidence, it builds trust, it builds relatability, and it builds desire. It builds, I need that. It enhances priority, and it moves people more quickly to the decision of, I'm ready to invest. So I would say 40 to 50%. So kick it around 45 if you're going to do the math, and check me on the numbers at the end. This is the biggest piece of content. And so I want you every week in your business to be thinking about, what was my client win this week, and talk about it. I want you to be documenting both, I said, the monetary and the esoteric kinds of experiences that people are getting working with you. People want to feel confident you're going to get the result because, as I said it before, nobody wants to pay for your time. So credibility is huge. And the more you can get other people's words into the marketplace, the better. Because it's not enough to say, I'm awesome. And watch your superlatives. You've heard that before on one of our earlier episodes with our copywriter, Sean Bernstein. This is about making sure somebody else says in their own words about their own experience, and that will have huge weight in the marketplace. The third pillar, credibility or character, excuse me, is also hugely important. I said people do business with people. So I will say 30% of your time is about you showing up as the human in your business, seeing about what's going on in your business, what's going on in your challenges, what's going on in your life, in the fun bits. Don't forget to show your humanness to your audience. It is important. Don't discredit it as fluff. People want to feel like they can relate to you. They want to know that you have a life outside the business. And it's so important that you show your lens on how you see the world, because that will be the biggest differentiator between who's in the front row and who says, I'm not in the right space because me and her don't gel. And you want them to know that so that you don't end up wasting time with people who you're not going to be a good fit with. Because if you are not a good fit, you will not see good results. And know that. Act with integrity all the time. It's so important. Fourth pillar is the conversion piece. And that's where you actually make the offer. That's where you're selling. It's where you're inviting. It's where you're talking about, this is how you work with me. These are the next steps. And I invite you to take them. That's only 5 to 10% of your content. If you want people to stay with your content long-term and build know, like, and trust, if all of you do is sell, 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 people will be turned off. If, however, you never make the offer and you never talk about your programs and services, hello, guess what? They don't know that they can work with you. You think it's implied. They're not seeing the clues and they're not connecting the dots. So you do have to make an offer. And if you're in a sales cycle and you're using launches in your business, of course, you're going to be in a period where you're using more than 5 to 10%, but you have to crescendo the room. You have to move the audience to be prepared to get that offer. And yes, self-leadership here, you must be the one to make that offer, but only 5 to 10% of the time, because people need to see that whole mix of those 4 pillars in order to move from, hey, I'm curious and I'm aware of you, to I want to invest with your programs and services. And remember, great content is about movement to the right audience, to a paid client. And I will tell you, if you do these 4 things and you work on the mix, you will have more success than perhaps you're seeing today with a scattergun approach of, I showed up in my business today, what will I say? It's okay to do that to a certain extent. You need to be timely and integrity with how you're feeling in that moment. However, I want you to show up and look at that calendar and say, well, today I'm going to be talking through the lens of credibility. Today I'm going to show up and talk through the lens of character. I'm going to show up today and be in the lens of knowledge sharing, giving generously. I'm going to show up today with a very clear invitation to come and work with me. These 4 content pillars, I hope, are really helpful. They are going to be the foundation. And what we talk about a lot in my business is the foundations. We want to create the basics that can be repeated to create scalability, profitability, impact, and income. I am your host here. I want you to subscribe to Amplify Your Marketing Message. I want you to come check out what it is that we do. We help clients become the must hire. We help them build an audience of buyers. We help them get that messaging focused around movement dialed in. And we make sure that the results are really compelling so that you have consistently high conversion rates. And we do that to help you level up your business, for you to create more impact without working 24/7. I've got some resources down below, an invitation to come to our events, come spend some time in our ecosystem. And if you already know you're ready to accelerate, let's talk about booking a business scale accelerator session. We will see you all on our next episode. I hope this content-focused episode is going to help you accelerate, amplify your marketing message, and see more client conversions in your business so that you can create impact and income. Until next time, we'll see you then. Take care.